This week on Raw, we got another Alexa's Playground, and do you know what? It was needed. I think this was genuinely one of the only parts of the show I really enjoyed. They got all that to talk about, plus, if you didn't know, Alexa Bliss was live earlier on from the Playground on WWE's TikTok page. Honestly, absolutely amazing. So much stuff we got unraveled. We got answers to questions a lot. We're going to discuss everything because this is things you might have missed. But of course, before we start, if you are new to the channel, hit the subscribe button and please make sure you like the video. It genuinely helps with YouTube algorithm stuff. Of course, Alexa Bliss had friends join her this week on Alexa's Playground. Of course, they weren't really friendly. It was the new women's tag team champions, Natalya and Tamina Snuka. Now, I really have to applaud Tamina here. I would do the exact same thing, looking around, constantly worried, getting right into Alexa's face, basically saying, don't try any of that creepy stuff. That was cool. We did get their names in the Alexa's Playground graphics, which I thought was a nice little touch from WWE. And of course, they really went on to talk about their favourite colours. Of course, Natalya said pink, Tamina said black. But it was really towards the end when Alexa Bliss brought up the fact Tamina got to beat up Reginald that was interesting because she seemingly came out of herself. She seemingly enjoyed the thought of Tamina obliterating Reginald. Now, when we think about what Alexa Bliss has actually told us, she hasn't told us that she's got her eye on her next victim. She simply said that her and Lilly have their eyes on someone. Now, that doesn't have to be Alexa's first victim. It doesn't have to be her first opponent. Is it possible that person is Reginald? It's out there. But it's what we saw tonight. Of course, we had the women's tag team title rematch on Raw. Alexa and Lilly appeared once again on the stage. But what happened next gives us maybe proof of that. As Reginald went to walk in the ring, the turnbuckle burst into flames, throwing Reginald back. And of course, he was the target seemingly tonight. Now, of course, there is history between Nia Jax and Alexa Bliss. That could lead to a thing where it is possibly about revenge, maybe of Nia Jax. I just don't know, because Nia is the one so far she hasn't targeted, but did she just target Reginald tonight to get to Nia? We know last week she targeted Shayna Baszler with the whole leg thing. Kind of starts to make sense. Maybe it's everyone around Nia first. I'm not going to lie, I kind of think it's almost interesting to have Reginald basically side with Alexa because maybe Lilly possesses him. Now, I don't mean as a tag team or anything like that, but maybe as like her servant, you know? Like basically she possesses him and controls him and abuses him and makes him do whatever she wants him to do whenever the hell she wants. That could be interesting. But it's now time for the most requested Yowie Wowie moment of the week ever. Of course, it's the zombies from last night's WWE's WrestleMania Backlash. It's all everyone's still talking about on social media. Whether you liked it or you hated it, you got an opinion and you're talking about it. You may not know this, but the zombies were actually created by Jason Baker and his team. And do you know what? This is fair play to WWE. They didn't do a half-assed job. They got professionals in to do these zombie outfits. Now, if you're not a fan of the zombies, this might upset you a bit. Because here is the leader of us Fireflies, Bray Wyatt. Yes, as a zombie. This already exists. And of course, Alexa Bliss has got into the action as well with her portrayal as a zombie. And there's only one way we can describe images of Bray and Alexa as zombies. As we said at the start of the video, there was an official watch party on WWE's TikTok today with Alexa Bliss live from the Playground. Very much what you'd expect. She sat there constantly talking to Lilly. There was someone behind the camera feeding questions to Alexa, and what they asked was very, very interesting. They was obviously watching along with the match from Fastlane, which was Alexa Bliss versus Randy Orton the night the Fiend returned. Interesting, every time you think they're done with this story and that they've moved on, WWE find a new way to remind you of it. Seemingly like they just want to dangle that hook and say to fans, maybe it's not over yet. Now, she was asked, of course, if Randy Orton is the Viper and you beat the Viper, what does that make you? Alexa Bliss looked at him and said, it makes her the Snake Charmer because she controls everything. Does that mean she's still controlling Randy Orton? Or has got the ability to? We saw her do it before, maybe. Alexa obviously said she is always happy. She always has been happy. She said that she welcomes all friends to Alexa's playground, but it's not up to her, it's up to Lilly, which is very interesting because if you've been on Twitter recently, you saw Sasha Banks tweet out, simply show me again the power of darkness. In reply to Sasha, Alexa Bliss replied, gladly, always room for more on the playground. This got a lot of people excited. More so, it means people can potentially join Alexa, so that's cool. Obviously, Sasha Banks replied, simply let me in. I don't think, as much as it would be super, super awesome to see Sasha and Alexa together, I don't think it's going to happen because they've teased it on Twitter. If this was something WWE wanted to do, they'll do it on TV, not social media. But stranger things have happened. You never, ever know in the WWE universe. There was a strange line that Alexa said on TikTok. She said that Lilly knows the power that's in me. Now, to me, that kind of indicates that maybe Lilly and Alexa are two completely different entities. Maybe there is a different demon inside Alexa than Lilly, like we expect. Maybe that's a hint that Lilly could potentially be someone else in WWE. It might make a bit of sense. But then we got to the juicy part. Of course, the bit the Fiend returned at Fastlane. Honestly, this is what I was waiting for, and it didn't disappoint. Lilly was told by Alexa she might not want to see this. Alexa tried to tell Lilly how great the Fiend was, but Lilly didn't believe her, which is really interesting because obviously we've just assumed at this point that Alexa's always hated the Fiend or she turned her back on him. And that's not the case. That's not what happened. Alexa even said tonight on the TikTok show that she would not say the Fiend was hideous. Because obviously we knew he was burned and things like that. But it does raise the question, is it possible that we can get back to a stage where Alexa rejoins the Firefly Funhouse? And I think the answer is yes. Mainly because they've left that part open. The fact Alexa Bliss is saying that she likes the Fiend, even now she likes the Fiend, that's very interesting. If the Fiend can find a way to defeat Lilly and take that influence away from Alexa Bliss, that could be the spark to bring her back into the fold. And then, of course, the ending. Alexa Bliss was asked who she had her eye on, and she said, come closer. Nope. Come closer. Closer. A little bit closer. And it cut straight off. Genuinely a great cliffhanger. There's no way WWE would or should give this away on TikTok. Especially TikTok. I don't like TikTok. But it is now time for a 1 week wonder. It's Ninja Watch! That's a thing now. We saw Akira Tozawa very slowly, very carefully crawl downstairs, face first I might add, on Raw. Of course, this led to him winning the 24/7 championship from R-Truth, but it was kind of fun. And I wanted to really know, what was the point when you saw Akira Tozawa doing this? Because it was hilarious.
We interrupt this broadcast for an important message from Firefly Funhouse News. Newsbreak.
Although she wasn't on the show, you can commemorate Alexa Bliss at WrestleMania Backlash on the Topps Slam digital trading card app. kind of cool. But in other pay-per-view news, WWE have announced Hell in a Cell, June 20th of this year. Very much earlier than normal. It's usually in October, so no idea why. I don't know if fans are back. I don't think they are. But how cool would this poster be? WWE, please, please, please reveal Alexa's first opponent before Hell in a Cell, because I want to see her and Lilly literally go to hell in a cell. It would be interesting. It would be fun. It would be unique. It would be different. Let's do it and let's have some freaking fun. Obviously, a lot of people are talking about the fact Alexa Bliss still uses the Firefly Funhouse theme song. And I wanted to touch on that because don't forget, the Playground was and is a creation of the Fiend. This is like an add-on, if you will, to what the Fiend's created with the Funhouse. It only makes sense then that if it lives and it is part of that world, that it would use the same music because it's part of the same thing. So maybe that is a hint that the Fiend still has some control over all this story. Very possible. I really think the most interesting part of that TikTok show was all about Lilly and basically how her opinions totally differ to Alexa Bliss's. Now, that could mean they're two separate entities. It could be like Funhouse Bray and the Fiend and how they don't always agree. Funhouse Bray wants to be friends while the Fiend wants to kill him. So that could be the same thing going on here. Again, only time will tell. But let me know your thoughts in the comment section down below. If you enjoyed this video, make sure you hit that like button, please. And of course, subscribe to the channel if you are new. I will, as always, see you next week. Peace!